Someone wrote to me recently and they were like, should I potty train my dog on leash? And here's the really wild thing that I found about raising Vigo and training him. And I'm pretty sure this is applicable to all dogs. Just because your dog knows to potty outside doesn't necessarily mean that they also know how to potty on leash. And I cannot tell you how many horror stories I've heard of people who have potty trained their dog by just opening the back door and letting the dog go out, and then being in a position where they need the dog to potty on leash. Maybe they're on a road trip, or maybe they're wherever, and the dog will not go to the bathroom while on leash because the dog's not used to it. That is like a sub-skill of potty training. So with regards to having a leash on your dog while potty training, my personal take is it's better for your dog to know how to potty on leash and then later on not need it all the time, versus having the ease of just like letting your dog out to go potty when they're younger, and then as they grow up they never know or never learn how to potty on leash when you might really need it. So we've just, I'd say in the past month or so, started like opening the door and letting Vigo go potty in our back garden. But up until that point, for months, we diligently put the leash on him and took him out the front and had his little potty spot that was like a designated area for him to go potty. Which leads me to my second thing. I know so many people personally whose dogs will not do a number two in particular unless they're being walked. So that means that every time their dog needs the bathroom, they have to take their dog on a full-blown walk. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm all for walking your dog, but I don't want to ever be in a position where I feel like I have to walk my dog so that they can go to the bathroom. This is why as well, when you're potty training, it's important to practice your dog going in the same spot in your home. So with Vigo, for example, we had an area that we would take him to every single time where he would go potty, and that's where he learned was his spot, so we could just walk outside, take him to that spot, and he would go. One caveat to this that we didn't think about, which I wish we had thought about, is I regret having this be literally our front garden, because our garden slowly started to turn brown, the grass in our garden. So we now walk across the street to like city grass, but it's near enough that it's like a 30-second walk from our front door instead of like a 10-second walk, if you see what I mean. All this to say, highly recommend potty training your dog on leash, and highly recommend that when you're potty training your puppy that you take them to the same spot every single time. Susan Garrett has a great podcast episode on this, and I know I'm gonna get questions too about like, how do you take your puppy outside if they're not vaccinated? And I would say speak to your vet, understand the risks, understand what your vet recommends. We actually had a really interesting situation where we had two vets from the same practice make two different recommendations based on Vigo's kind of vaccination progress, because I think different vets have different risk thresholds. But speak to your vet, understand the risks. But even if you wait until after your dog is fully vaccinated to start potty training, these tips still 100% apply. But I hope that helps, and I hope you're having an amazing weekend. Toodles.